Leader Simon Bridges. Atamari.
Good morning.
When did Amy Adams tell you that she was going to go?
Look, probably some period of months ago we started discussing this. It's
so
very
before
sad.
the budget?
That's right. And, it's sad. I would have loved her to stay. But ultimately, as you've seen, for her own reasons, I suppose the right reasons for her, she's not. And we understand that.
What about Alistair Scott, the MP for Wairarapa? When did you know he was going?
Yeah, more recently, whether it's a period of weeks, and, again, someone who's not been a minister, but been member of Parliament for Wairarapa and made a real contribution there. And so again,
what is his biggest achievement?
Well, there's a bunch of things. I think, for example, of a most recent one, which has been in relation to drug driving. I think he's managed to put that on the agenda and the need for a regime in that area.
Was he told that he wasn't going to be reselected?
No, not at all.
So he wasn't told to leave?
Absolutely not.
It wasn't made clear to him that there wasn't a future for him as a candidate in the National Party?
No, categorically no such discussion.
But losing two MPs in, 45 minutes, I think, as it turned out, is that not somewhat careless?
No, I think what it shows is the reverse of that. It shows a party of talent, of substance and depth. Really, this week, if you think about it...
So to be clear then, that was a planned reshuffle yesterday?
Well, obviously, as I've made quite clear, I knew about Amy Adams and about Alistair Scott, and then it's prudent to plan for that and to have a reshuffle. And I think what you see there is, we've been able to bring forward proven performers. I've been able to give, if you like, a try to fresh talent in the caucus. And I think that will contrast very powerfully with the position the Prime Minister will be in with a reshuffle tomorrow.
Was it meant to come out in the way that it did within the hour? And was it a coincidence that both those MPs left yesterday?
Well, of course, they haven't left because they'll still be in Parliament for this term.
But that was how it was meant to be managed, was it?
Well, the way that it was, to use your word, managed is quite simply this. I thought that Amy and Alistair, but Amy as a former substantial minister with many portfolios, deserved the time, if you like, the space before the reshuffle. But of course, inevitably, the media in New Zealand turns to, well, who will be your new finance spokesperson? How will you fill those gaps? And so a little later in the afternoon we did that.
That doesn't really explain how it happened yesterday that they both said they were leaving within 45 minutes of each other, which looked messy.
Well, no, I think it was, I stand to be corrected, but look at around the same time. They told caucus in the morning. There were then press releases and, of course, in Amy's case, as we call them, a stand-up. And then from there, my reshuffle, which again, I say, shows the talent, the substance and the depth that we have. And a Prime Minister I got some sympathy for because although she needs to make moves in housing and transport
Well, we're talking about
health,
your reshuffle,
she doesn't
so
have the depth to do that.
About Amy Adams, she wanted to be the leader. About a year ago. It seems a bit strange that now she wants to leave Parliament.
Well, as I say, we understand her reasons. Politics takes its toll. And, she's got a family. She's got a life to get on with. She's made
she's
a
got
substantial
two grown-up children, hasn't she?
Sure.
Yeah, so they're grown up. They've left home.
Well, ultimately, Susie, look, I understand what you're doing. If you want to talk to Amy Adams, you should do that.
Well, we're going to be talking to Amy Adams, but I'm wondering
reasons.
Does she not want more opposition time?
Well, no. I think she's made quite clear her reasons.
But isn't it a vote of no confidence in you as the leader and National that they're not going to win the next election?
Because you've just said now repeatedly, well, that's not the question, so I'd like to have a good go at that. But the reality is, what this reshuffle shows is a couple of things. It shows a talent, a substance and depth where quite seamlessly I can bring forward proven talent because we are brimming with it. And a Prime Minister, in contrast this week, in a tale of two reshuffles, who should be making big moves because she's failing to deliver on her promises to New Zealand and yet won't be able to do. And that is a tragedy.
And let's continue to talk about your reshuffle.
It's really important because you're saying, look, what does this mean for the National Party? We've seen, and you've asked me about it, whether it's speculation around Christopher Luxon or other things, that actually National is a party where many people, high flyers, want to come to us. And you will see, look, whether it's the selections in Selwyn and Wairarapa, where there will be many, many people who want to come and be a national member of Parliament, through to top people in Maoridom, NGOs, the corporate sector, who will want to come and be a part of our team.
Well,
as
time
we
will
bring it in
tell on that
2030.
one. Paul Goldsmith for Finance. Are you going to want him to actively campaign in his electorate, considering he's going to be taking on such an important role?
Well, we'll make decisions on that and announce that next year. But the reality is...
But realistically, are you saying that your finance spokesperson may not actively campaign for the seat that he's running in?
Paul Goldsmith can chew gum and walk at the same time. Bill English was an electorate member of Parliament. Finance Minister was. Cullen was. Grant Robertson was. Now, we can have our different views on them.
It's not about whether he's a list MP or not. It's about whether he's selected in an electorate that he's then asked to take a back seat on.
If we chose to do that, he could quite easily, I think, do that.
You'd be happy with that?
But of course, we'll make a decision and be clear on that next year.
Why not move Judith Collins into that portfolio? Isn't she one of your best performing MPs?
I think, in the media, I think say the same thing. If you look at it, Paul Goldsmith is the logical, the natural choice. He understands the economy and what makes it tick and how to make it stronger.
But hasn't Judith had a little bit of demotion, really, in this reshuffle, because she's had the infrastructure portfolio taken away from her, even though she still sits at the same ranking?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think in relation to infrastructure, on reflection, it quite clearly is a finance-like role. It is about the funding and the financing of infrastructure.
But does she not understand that?
Sit there. No, I mean, if you look at Amy Adams, you've got a situation there where she had two portfolios, and I thought that was right for Paul as well.
Okay. But Judith Collins has had a portfolio taken away from her. So how would you describe your relations with her at the moment?
Good, fantastic. We had dinner together last night.
Okay, so there's no frostiness in the relationship, there's no dysfunction.
No, there isn't. Look, the reality is Judith is there as number 4. There's a minor change there because infrastructure, I think, sits well with Paul and with finance.
You talked about Christopher Luxon earlier on. You've had a conversation with him, I understand. Sure. Did you ring him? Did he ring you?
Well, you know the answer to that, and that's that I said yesterday I'm not going to over-analyse that because
but this
I
is
get 50
important.
or 60. No, it's not really.
It is actually.
No, it's not.
Because are you courting him or is he courting you? Who's picking up the phone to whom?
Here's pretty clear. You've got a guy who's talented, who is has a distinguished career, who is a good guy.
Yep.
We've heard.
So did you ring
him
and say, I would like you in the National Party?
I'm not going to characterise the conversation. The reality is this simple. He's now got a period of time to run with Air New Zealand, a period of months. Let's then see what happens. But I've made clear, I think, National is the natural party for talent.
Well, he said he wants to be in
top
National.
CEs. We want to see
people from
So is he picking
up the phone to you to say, I want to be in the party?
Well, look, I'm not going to get into that.
Why not?
Because, as I say, the reality is it's not for me to characterise these things.
I'm only asking who rang.
What happens.
I'm only asking who rang who.
I know you are.
Yeah, so why not tell me?
Well, we've now gone around this little game, I think, several times, Susie.
Yes, but what's the answer?
Well, as I say, that's not an important point.
Because I don't believe that you don't remember. I just think you don't want to tell me.
Well, good for you.
So what's the answer?
No, look, Susie, we can do this as long as you want. I'm focused on a reshuffle and what that means for New Zealand. I'm focused on a government that is ensuring, more tax, more cost, more debt, and a weaker economy, and National's answers to those things. And the reality of it is I am privileged to lead a party that is brimming with talent, that will see more talent come in, that may include Christopher Luxon.
And if it
I
does,
don't know yet.
Is he likely for Selwyn or Wairarapa seats, do you think? Is that a possibility?
I think we need to be fair to Christopher Luxon. The guy hasn't, made exactly clear where that's going. He hasn't got a seat.
He is from Christchurch, though.
See what happens.
He's from Christchurch. So is Selwyn a likely possibility?
Just as I can't do interviews for Amy Adams, I can't do interviews for Christopher Luxon either.
Because Wairarapa might not be a seat for him, seeing as Air New Zealand cancelled the flights from Masterton. He might not be so popular there. Would that be the calculation you're making?
No, I'm not making any calculations about these things. The reality is, we are going to see, as I said to you, from a variety of sectors, top people come in. That's a difference between National and Labour. I think National has a culture of people like Amy coming in, making a contribution, and then getting back to their lives, because politics does take a toll. I think in Labour you do see, dare I say it, with the greatest of respect to them, those long-termers, some would say hacks, and that's not a model National has or wants to have.
Appreciate your time this morning.
Hey,
That's
thanks so much.
National Party leader Simon Bridges. It's now 22 minutes to 8.
And coming up before 8 on Morning Report, MPs have voted